What's up, everybody? It's your boy Sir Splash, and before we get started, I understand that this video won't please everybody. In the end, a lot of us have a lot of natural bias or a lot of natural desire to see a certain result. However, I hope that doesn't reflect upon the dislikes on this video. I hope you kind of respect the effort I put into it, the thought I put behind it, and really the journey more so than the conclusion if you don't necessarily like the conclusion. So go ahead and drop a like because I did work hard on this. I ran through a bunch of scenarios, a bunch of possibilities, and ultimately, I feel like I definitely came to a conclusion that should actually bring a positive note to both sides. So, with that being said, this is the conclusive battle on my channel of Thor, Marvel Comics versus Superman, DC Comics. These versions I'm using is Thor 616 and DC Superman Rebirth, which covers post Crisis as well as New 52. Now, just so you guys know, if you want like the definitive power scale I did on both, those are two videos I made prior. Please go watch those if you haven't watched them already, so you know where I'm coming from on each one. And I would like to point out that fans of Thor on the Thor power scale agreed with what I said, liked what I said. On the Superman power scale, Superman fans liked what I said, agreed with what I said. There was no really dissent on either video. So y'all know what's coming into the battle. So y'all should agree with what's going into the battle. I don't really I don't really want to see any major complaints about what I used in this video because what I used stems from those videos. But with that being said, what I actually think I need to do first is kind of go over the points of contention. Now, these points of contention are points that I feel are prevalent in almost every Thor versus Superman battle discussion. So it could either be on a forum with my friends when I'm out somewhere, or even on Discord or in my comment section. These are kind of the points that are typically brought up, and I'm going to kind of go through and debunk them. And the debunks and the answers that I come up with based on the major points of contention actually lead to who I think the victor is. So first point of contention I kind of want to bring up and address is, does either one shot? Now, Thor fans love to say he one shot Superman. Superman fans love to say he one shots Thor. I believe that's not the case for either. Both likely do not one shot given their character types and historical battle tendencies. Both typically start off weighing off their opponents, trying to figure out, what level they're at, what they're dealing with. They don't go full force off rip. That's very unusual, very unlikely for both. So I don't think the dismissal of, Superman high end one shot Thor, I think that's dishonest, as well as very misleading, and I don't think it happens vice versa. I don't think Thor comes out off rip swinging for a home run. It's not going to happen. So the one shot is not occurring in this matchup. Point of contention number 2. Is magic an instant neg to Superman? No, it's not. What we kind of have to understand about this is Superman has shown multiple instances of both fighting against magic and winning, or even absorbing and consuming magic. So when I went through and researched Superman and his history with magic users and magic itself, what magic seems to be is something that can get the better of Superman. It's not, a kryptonite level weakness. It doesn't ensure a one shot or even a particular heavy advantage against him. It's something he needs to be wary of. Where he's mostly invulnerable to a lot of things, magic is not something he has this extra set of defense against. It's something he has to be wary of. So yeah, it can be a useful weapon against him, but it definitely isn't something that completely, takes Superman out of the equation. He's fought Shazam multiple times. who's completely magical in nature. Fought several high tier magic users. He's engulfed magic. He's tanked magic. It's just something he has to be wary of. It's not, people like to misconstrue it as like a kryptonite level weakness. It definitely is not there. Let's go on to point of contention number 3. Thor always holds back. So this argument kind of goes Thor wins because in everything else, Thor holds back. He's not going to hold back in this matchup, and that's what gives him the W. Issue with that is Superman holds back as well. If we will be operating under the pretense that Thor will let loose in this scenario, we can go for that. That is fine. However, when you do so, we have to allow Superman the chance to do the same. We have to make both of them privy to doing that. And when we do that, Marvel fans, that's when we make a mistake, and that is not something we should aim to do. We should aim, to keep it level at the mid-ball. Mid-ball, I actually think both of them are very relative in the things they can do. Now, let's move on to the next point of contention. Superman doesn't have nearly as many hacks. Yes, this is correct in some instances. However, what makes this argument almost null and void is that where Superman kind of seems to not exercise that many unique hacks, that many versatile hacks, what he does exercise is a plethora of high tier hacks resistances. So while he might not demonstrate a bunch of crazy hacks, he has demonstrated the propensity to go against and negate several high tier hacks. He is capable of negating and in some cases ignoring what Thor would be able to throw his way. Also, I always think this is weird coming from Marvel fans. Thor doesn't necessarily show a propensity for spamming hacks, so it's kind of a weird argument to make, the whole, Thor's going to do this hack, then that hack, then that hack, like spam it. Like, dude, you're not plugging your controller into Thor and using them. Same way you're not using it for Superman. We're kind of going off their characters, their tendencies, and their feats. So, no, he wouldn't do that. Next up, we're going to go over, this whole thing. Oh, Superman one-shots GG because Thor's slow. No, Thor's not slow. He has had a couple, moments where Wolverine was quick to him, but Wolverine has a lot of wank in the comics. But Thor has been able to go past the infinite void of thought itself. He's been able to keep up with Silver Surfer. Silver Surfer himself can travel quadrillions of billions of light years and seconds. He can travel outside of, time itself. He can move so fast he goes through time with pure speed alone. And Thor, every time he matches up with Silver Surfer, they are pretty equal in speed. He's easily able to fight him. While he might not be travel speed Superman's level, when you go mid tier for both, combat speed, he's definitely right there for the mid tier. So Thor's not getting blitzed right away. Thor is a lot faster than people give him credit for. Number 5, or number 6, I don't know what point we're on, but this point of contention is, quote, Superman is against killing. Thor is a warrior, and he is not against killing. That, to me, is a bit of a dishonest approach. Superman is not above handling necessary problems. He will hesitate to kill those connected to him. But I don't see a reason why Superman wouldn't be willing to murk a blonde guy yelling in old speaking habits and slinging a big-ass hammer his way. I really don't think Superman would have an issue putting Thor down at that point. Doesn't know him, runs up on his block talking crazy, summoning storms. He's going to put him down. Likewise, while Thor holds back as well, Thor's going to put Superman down because both of them are no joke when it comes to this matchup. So, that being said, I've gone over that and what I think should appease a lot of people. This should be a pretty even matchup when it starts. I really do think they would go blow to blow based on consistent showings. You got to understand these characters have thousands of appearances. I have not read every single appearance of each character. It would be dishonest of me to say that. I've done my best. I've read a majority of them, and I've checked with people that have read a majority of them, but almost no one has, and certainly not everyone remembers everything. But going off you can't consistently put either character at the high tiers. Yeah, it's like saying Superman in over 2,000 appearances, over 1,000 of them are Outerverse. Like, stop it. That's weird. Don't do it. I doubt any of you are willing to show me 1,000 Outerversal Superman scans. Stop it. Likewise, Thor's consistently multiversal. No, stop it. He's not consistently hyperversal either. This is something that gets touched on every once in a while. However, he has over 1,000 appearances as well. So you would have to show, over 500 of those when you actually talk about what consistency is. People mistake consistency because of how people do it in debates. In debates, when they say consistency, contextually, it just means like show 3 to 5 examples of them doing this. But when you actually statistically look at it, consistency should be over 50%. It should be a majority. You're just not getting the high ends from both of them majority of the time, which is why this battle is almost a stalemate when it starts. Stamina, I don't believe, would be a factor. Both can go for extended periods of time. However, I don't think this battle will take an absurd amount of time. I don't think it'll take weeks, months, anything like that. So ultimately, what is the major factor that boils down for me in this battle? It actually is speed. Yes, as I addressed, Thor is not slow. And don't leave this video thinking I believe Thor is slow. However, with both of these characters being sort of relative at their average rates of output, we have to start, digging into the higher feats for both. Superman will just blitz at this point. He has moved in the source, and he's blitzed Darkseid to the source wall itself. You got to understand, the source, when Superman moved in it, direction was meaningless. There actually is no distance to travel. That kind of human comprehension of travel with distance, speed, and time, all of that, is out the window when you get into a realm like that. It is not dimensionally bound like everything else in Marvel. There's some beings that are outerversal, but dimensionally bound for most of the characters in Marvel. This is several leagues above being dimensionally unbound. So when Superman is moving through there, Highfather says, you literally can't go in any direction here. It's unbound. No life force has ever moved in here. And it's not theoretically, scientifically possible for someone to go from one side to the other because there is no one side to the other. You got to understand it's in terms of relativity. So infinity to a human or regular characters is just not the same level as infinity to another character. They talk about it in the Sandman run, where their idea of infinite is multiple transcendences above human idea of infinite. So Superman has shown the ability to travel in these realms before that are beyond dimensions multiple times. This puts him at a vastly superior speed to Thor when it comes to when we have to dig into the higher levels. That's not even going over some of the AP stuff. But the issue for Thor with this is Thor has been overwhelmed by speed before. If you remember Death Seed Century, when he turned up, grabbed Thor, the velocity itself completely disoriented Thor. Now, here's the issue. I do believe if Thor led with the God Blast, he would win. But I don't believe he would. It's not a character. It's not something he swings for the fences for initially. Just like I don't think Superman speed blitzes in the beginning. But as the battle drags on and they both get more serious and they have to go deeper and deeper, Superman's too fast for Thor. And at the end of the day, Superman does eventually get mad enough, get serious enough to speed blitz and finish off Thor. So my winner is Superman. Hurts me to say it because I'm a Thor fan. I don't really like Superman, but the facts are the facts, at least as objectively as we could be. I hope you leave this video on both sides feeling happy. I don't think Thor gets one shot. I don't think Superman gets one shot. I do think Superman wins in the end, but it's not easy. It gets easier when you go into the high level feats for both. But in the end, I give it to Superman. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, subscribe, and comment. It's been your boy, Sir Splash, and I will see y'all later. Peace.